What's good with y'all, man? It's the God. Much love, much infinite evolution, much infinite quantum abundance to all. Right here, man. Shout out to the Off Guard Pod with Austin Rivers. I'm gonna put his add to his channel in the description or comments below. Let's get straight to it. Let's go.
Kevin Durant talked about it. They're like, is it easier to score in today's era or the era you came when you came in the league? Obviously, him and LeBron can speak to that. Chris Paul, because they've been in the NBA for so long. And they're all like, it's not even close. Like, the score in today's game is so much easier. He goes, you have all these diverse offenses and the way the game's played, the speed. He goes, back then we ran floppy. It was a pin down. Like, that's what you had. Ray Allen is like third all time in threes off floppy. Like, there wasn't no damn, until he got, honestly, I'm not saying this because he's my pops, but like, he got to Boston and that's when you start seeing all this shit where he's coming off all these crazy screens, and that's because he was playing with so much talent, all this, whatever. But like, up until that, it's just like pin down three, Ray Allen. It was crazy, bro, how the league was. So yeah, I mean, you think about, like you said, a Paul Pierce and all these guys, all these dynamic scorers, a Tracy McGrady. Can you imagine Tracy McGrady playing? If you took prime Tracy McGrady, bro, and just threw him out there in that Magic game last night, he would have had 72. I'm not even kidding. No, he would have had 55 at the very least. At the very least. Name another 6'8" guy who has a scoring ability like him in the NBA. There's none except one, and he plays in Phoenix. And we've seen what he's done in his career. That would be Tracy McGrady right now. Just scoring at will, bro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I necessarily agree with everything that he said at the end. But just to go back to the beginning part, and when we have these conversations or when the casual fan rhetoric, because they do dominate a lot of the coverage of conversation, and I think that's what the NBA wants. More traction, more casual talk, because it can boost the ratings for what the casual fan that don't really know what they're talking about want to see, or just even opposing ends to the ones who don't really like the game today. It's still conversation about it, and that's boosting whatever they wanted to boost. But it's like when we just talk about the game and talk about numbers being put up and efficiency and all this and say, well, these players now are more efficient than, and it's like, that does not necessarily mean that they're better players. Yeah, on a baseline, if you make more shots, oh yeah, you're more efficient, so you can be better, because the baseline of the game, Chaz, is to make more shots. Make more shots, you win the game. You score more points, you win the game. But it's about the process of your production and what you produce relative to the environment that you're being asked to produce in. You feel me? It's the process of your production and how much you produce relative to the environment that you're being asked, and the relative to the environment that you're being tasked to produce in. You feel me? So it's like, if we don't apply that context, what does it matter? The efficiency of players today, what it is what it is, and the efficiency of players at different points is what it is as well. But to me, efficiency does not always directly correlate to your level of effectiveness on the court. It's how you're able to score, when you're scoring. Okay, it's like in this game, in the second quarter, this may be this. It all just comes down to watching film, because there's so many different swings of the environment throughout the course of a game, like swings and motions, that it's like, I'm not finna sit here and say that a player, his level of effectiveness on the game dropped, because when we go from the regular season, an 82 game sample size, to a let's say, if they sweep through the playoffs, a 16 game sample size in the playoffs, like that can maximize at 28 games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna say just because they numbers, that's barely a fourth of the season, barely, like 28 games, that's barely a fourth. And it's no, it's a little bit over a fourth, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I'm like, when we and then say, well, his numbers dropped, or he dropped 2 points and he dropped 3 points and he dropped 4% in efficiency in the playoffs. But it's like, bro, like, if we're talking simple math, it's like, bro, like, you can drop 4 percentages by just by you making a couple less shots a game than you made over a 70 game sample size. You know what I'm saying? So everything just always goes back to applying context. And at the end of the day, so much context is being needed to apply for numbers that you might as well just go watch the film. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're better off if you just watch the film. But I know that's not what a lot of people have the advantage of doing. And it's like, you get why people talk about the game the way that they do. But I would just appreciate if you just see more in these spaces of basketball community, or just any community periods, that if we actually apply true context and film behind what's actually happening in these situations that we're specifically referring to, instead of trying to boost propaganda and narratives off of who we like and who we don't like. You feel me? But let me know what y'all think about this video. Shout out to the Off Guard Pod. I'm put the Today channel in the description below. Much love, much infinite evolution. Love yourself always. Just to God, I'm out. Peace.